But in the crossfire tonight, Democratic Congressman Keith Ellison of Minnesota and Bill Kristol, editor of the Weekly Standard. And let me start, Keith, along the same line, because this just keeps going. Last night, we had Valerie Jarrett tweet the following. Nothing in Obamacare forces people out of their health plans. No change is required unless insurance companies change existing plans. Now, I'm going to yield you in a second, but the Obamacare law requires the insurance company to change the plan. The insurance company then says, I'm now changing your plan. And the government, which makes them change their plan, is saying it's the insurance company's fault. What am I missing?
I think it's substantially true. The fact of the matter is that we have about 80% of the people who have employer-based health care, their situation is essentially the same, only it's better because now we have insurance reform that makes, just like Stephanie said, pre-existing conditions and other things work better. On the folks who are in the individual market, we've now said you can't have a plan that basically has all these fine print points and doesn't pay. It has to meet some basic standards. And so if the plan you're offering doesn't meet those standards, then you got to upgrade. That's what this is all about. The fact is, I think that this is an improvement in people's lives. We're 1 month out from October 1st. We are scrutinizing this thing. And let's face it, Newt, there's a lot of people whose scrutiny isn't on the up and up because they've never liked insurance reform.
No, but it's nice of you to improve people's lives, but maybe they should have a say in it. How many of the plans, how many of the 19 million...
November 2012, I mean, people did make a choice.
Right, and the president went around the country saying, I'm going to take away your health insurance plan. He said the opposite. They made a choice thinking that they could keep their health insurance under Obamacare.
You're talking about 5% of the population.
I'm sorry, 19 million people purchased individual health insurance plans in the United States last year. Those are 19 million Americans. How many of them are grandfathered?
How
many of them are grandfathered?
And Bill, you understand what happens in the individual marketplace. Nobody keeps their plan year after year. Very few of them do. That's the nature of the individual marketplace. And they would like to get a better plan.
Many of them do keep the plans. I'm sorry.
It's a contract. It has an expiration date.
And that's just tough on you, and then you have to go in the exchange and take the plan they want for you.
What was it
before? It's not the market.
That is the market.
What was it before is that people could buy a plan in a free country. Let me just ask you this. Why would you support? You can have all the exchanges you want. If my friend in Washington, D.C., who got his notice of cancellation last week, likes his current plan, and the insurance company likes selling him his current plan, and he's a bright guy, he has a Ph.D., he's read the fine print, he doesn't need Keith Ellison, Stephanie Cutter, or anyone else to explain to him what he needs, why can't he renew it?
Because
why can't he renew it?
Let me answer. Because we don't make public policy based on your friend. We make it for a country. If your friend wants to go to a restaurant that has a bunch of health code violations because it's cheaper there, well, you know what? The health inspector might say, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to allow that.
This plan was fully legal.
Look, it didn't meet the basic requirements of the law, Bill, so there had to be some changes.
Okay, that's great.
There had to be some...
There has to be some changes. Is that what the president said? There has to be some changes.
Well, you heard,
the president said you can keep your plan, period.
No, what he said is it was a campaign speech. He's not a policy.
He said it 100 times. He said it in a prepared speech to the American Medical Association. You can keep your plan, period.
And that is substantially true, and anybody who...
Oh, you don't believe that.
Oh, of course I do. 80% of the people with employer situations, the only change was that their situation got better.
He didn't say that. I mean, I think this is fundamental to running a free society. He went, and you can say it wasn't a policy one. Come on. He went around the country over and over. I mean, I don't think literally we could fill 2 hours with excerpts of Barack Obama saying, they're lying to you, you get to keep your plan, and you get to keep your doctor.
For the people in employer-based health care, that's true, right? You agree with that? 80% of the people. 80% of the people.
No, that's not entirely true for people.
Well, look, if we're having a new law, we know there will be some changes, right?
Better. There's something else going here. There is something else going on here. And Bill, let me talk to you about this. So,
Bill's for the status quo.
Is that?
Yeah, he's for. Go for it.
You've been against this plan from the beginning,
Congressman Ellison.
No.
Really?
No. I got to go into the exchange.
With 75% of your plan subsidized by the taxpayer, unlike anyone else in the exchange.
Well, wait a minute. My employer, this is an employer subsidy. This is what we had before. As a matter of fact, you know, the reality is that members of Congress do have to go into the exchange. I'm going into the exchange.
With 75% subsidy from the taxpayer that no one else in the exchange gets.
Well, wait.
You and the Republican House tried to stop.
What was the deal before? Right? I used to have federal.
So you get to keep your plan. Unlike everyone else in America, you get the same arrangement.
We can discuss what Congress, members of Congress are getting, but that's not really the point here. The point here is that you've been against the health care law from the start. Right. You've been against the health care law from the start. There's something else going on here. In the 90s, it was the same situation. You wrote a famous memo in 1993 saying Republicans should not compromise with Democrats because it would make the Democrats the party of the middle class forever. And that's exactly what's going on here. People are making political points here. They're not making substantive points. We're not even giving this law a chance. We're a month into it being implemented.
I'm not stopping
as of January 1st.
I'm not the one who's stopping it from being implemented.
February 1st, we'll know. March 1st, we'll know.
I totally agree.
So, but don't you agree that people are making political points here?
I'm not making any point. I mean,
Bill, here's a larger question.
I didn't do anything about the website. I didn't say if
don't you agree?
You can keep it. My only point is, why can't people keep their plan?
Don't you agree that what we had before we passed the Affordable Care Act was an unacceptable situation for millions of Americans? Don't you agree we needed reform?
Yes, and we didn't need to reform it in such a way that people who liked their plan had to have it taken away from them. There were many other ways to reform health care, and many Republicans and many Democrats proposed ways to reform health care.
And by the way, the health care bill we have is modeled on a Republican plan. I mean, the fact is that the Massachusetts law, this comes up out of Republican
Heritage Foundation.
You know, and so now you guys don't like the porridge that you cooked. I mean, come on.
It's not accurate to say, let's wait for a while. People in Florida...
You got to give it a chance.
People in Florida, 300,000, have been told they will be, quote, transitioned
to a better plan.
Well,
no,
which in the individual market happens every single year. It happens every single year. You guys are defending a broken market.
By the way, what do we have? 8% inflation, medical inflation. Now we're down about 5.6. I mean, we're even been in the cost curve down. More people are going to have health care insurance before. You can't expect to change the law and have everything perfect.
I don't know where that comes from.
Hold on.
You look
they are
at the exchanges.
Just stick with us.
All right.
After all.